We want to go now to DeKalb, the sheriff's office giving a press conference now as they look for a man accused of shooting two DeKalb County Sheriff's Office investigators.
I just want to give a recap of what took place this morning when two of my deputies was assaulted. Around 7:30 a.m. this morning, the 2100 block of Wellington Circle in Lithonia, Georgia, deputies from DeKalb County Sheriff's Office was attempting to endeavor on an aggravated assault warrant on the subject that was wanted for aggravated assault, Edward Gatling, at which time an attempt was made for the individual to come to the door, no access. The subject began firing at the officers through the door. There were no shots fired on this end from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, at which time two officers were injured. They are now hospitalized here at DeKalb County. One is in surgery and the other is in stable condition at this time. I want to put this out here. And this is my appeal to the community. First of all, let me just say thank you to all other municipalities that has reached out and stepped out and supported in this endeavor on bringing this subject into custody. You at DeKalb County Marshals have put out a $10,000 reward. DeKalb County Sheriff Office, $10,000 reward. There's now a $20,000 reward to bring this subject, Edward Gatling, into custody. So we're appealing to the public, we're appealing to the family, we're appealing to friends. Please note these officers go out every day and put their lives on the line to make sure that you can sleep, to make sure that you can play, and that you can enjoy your life. I'm grateful for all the support. We are grateful. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office family is grateful for all the support from Clarkston, the Clarkston Police Department, Fulton County Sheriff's Office, Henry County Sheriff's Office, DeKalb Police Department, Atlanta Police Department, Gwinnett County Police Department, as well as the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office, U.S. Marshals, Cobb County Sheriff's Office, Stone Mountain Police Department, DeKalb Marshals, and we want to also thank Governor Kemp for calling to make sure that these officers were okay. To my left here, I have District Attorney Sherry Boston, who has also been on the scene with us and supporting us through this time. It is in times like these that we need each other. Our hearts and prayers and condolences also go out to the Clayton County Police Department. On last night, just at midnight, two officers responding to a domestic, again trying to make our community safe, and one lost their life. Let me be clear. Mr. Gatling, Mr. Edward Gatling, I know you're out there. You will be brought to custody. You will be taken in. We will not tolerate this, not just in DeKalb, but at anywhere else. We will not tolerate this. Madam DA, would you like to?
Good afternoon. I am Sherry Boston, the DeKalb County District Attorney, and I stand here in support of the DeKalb law enforcement community and all the law enforcement community across the metro Atlanta area. These officers that were out this morning executing a warrant against a defendant wanted in our court system for other serious violent felonies put their lives on the line. And we are committed in the District Attorney's Office to seeking justice, keeping our community safe, and making sure we hold violent offenders accountable. And so we stand here today praying and supporting the families of these officers, supporting my sheriff and the law enforcement community, but also actively preparing. My team is on the ground, has been on the scene, and stands ready to handle this case once the investigation is turned over to us, so that we can make sure that swift and justice and speedy justice is served, and that we can make sure that we remove from the streets any violent felons that are going to engage in this type of conduct, as well as perpetrating gun violence in our communities. We're prepared to handle this case, and we will continue to assist in the location and the apprehension of Mr. Gatling. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Madam DA. Also want to make sure that I thank the staff here at Grady Hospital for taking good care of our deputies. Once again, Mr. Gatling, we know you're out there. We know you're out there. And we see you. Our community see you. This is not what will be tolerated in our community. So do know you will be brought to custody.
Questions?
Yes. Sheriff, you said your guys fired no rounds, no shots, and they didn't breach the entry to his apartment or his home?
There were no shots fired by the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office. This subject just at which time, I'm assuming once he saw the officers, decided to brandish his weapon and start firing on the deputies.
Do you know how he was able to leave the scene? By foot, by vehicle, what?
As of right now, it's still an active investigation, so we're still just trying to get as much information as we can. We're not sure.
Sorry, your deputy was in surgery. Can you explain the extent of his injuries?
Right now, only thing I can tell you that he is in surgery. He was. The blessing of it is both deputies were cracking jokes, so that's a blessing to us, and we feel good about it because we at the DeKalb County Sheriff Office is a family. Not just at the Sheriff Office, but in law enforcement as a whole, we become a family. So when we hear jokes being cracked, again, in an instance like this, we're very grateful and we thank God for that, especially considering, again, our hearts and condolences going out to Clayton County Police Department.
And are you identifying your two deputies right now?
We do have our two deputies. I can't give you their names, which is Aaron Jackson and Jared Hunt. Deputy Aaron Jackson and Deputy Jared Hunt.
There are times on the force at the Sheriff's Department?
I'm sorry?
There are times, their tenure on the Sheriff's Department?
Well, I can tell you that I don't have the exact time, but they are veteran officers with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office.
All right, any more questions?
Sheriff, what makes this difficult to accept? Again, these guys are doing this day in and day out to protect the community, but yet somebody's going to be offended by their presence. I mean, how does that embolden you, or just what can you do to step this up to provide better protection for your guys?
The protection comes from the community trusting us and working with us and bringing this subject to justice, because as long as he's out there, if he's harmed one, he's going to harm another, and he's already harmed two, and he's going to harm two more. So that's why we need the community to come together to support us and make sure that this subject is brought to justice.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, hearing from DeKalb County Sheriff Melody Maddox with a very strong message to the suspect here, Edward Gatling, a $20,000 reward. And her quote is, "You will be taken in. This will not be tolerated." She's updating us from Grady Hospital, where two deputies, veteran officers, Deputy Aaron Jackson and Deputy Jared Hunt, we're hearing their names for the first time, are in the hospital, one in surgery, one in stable. But it was good to hear her mention that both are not only talking, but cracking jokes. So we will keep updating the investigation as they search for this subject. We do have his picture on the 11 Alive Facebook page, on our website. We encourage you to share that. He is armed and dangerous, of course, but please call police if you have information or you see him.